It was a Tuesday. I remember that because I had made chili. Tuesday chili was a thing for us. I'd slice jalapenos while she poured wine, always humming something half-remembered from the radio. We didn't talk much on those nights, just the comfort of presence, of rhythm. Only that night, it was just me at the table, her wine glass untouched, the chili congealing in its bowl. She'd texted earlier, heading to Mom's. She needs help with the water heater. Might crash there. I'd replied something like, all good, tell her I said hi. And that was that. Until her mom called at 9:13 p.m. Hey, she said. I could hear her cat meowing in the background. Is Maggie there? My heart dropped. I think I managed a sorry. Maggie, she said again, like I hadn't understood. She told me she might stop by later this week, but she left her charger last time and I just found it. Thought maybe she came to get it. I stared at the phone like it might start lying for me. She's not with you? There was a pause, just long enough to confirm what I feared. No, sweetie, her mom said. Is everything okay? I lied, because it was easier than unraveling. Yeah, all good. Must have misunderstood. We hung up, and I just sat there, alone, stomach full of acid instead of dinner, mind racing. I didn't even stand up. I just let the truth crawl in and make itself comfortable. She wasn't with her mom. She wasn't where she said she'd be. Which begged the real question. Where the hell was she? I didn't explode. I didn't grab my coat and go storming off into the night. That's not me. Instead, I sat with it. Sat in the quiet, in the gap between what I believed and what I now knew. I thought about the last few months. The late-night showers after she'd get home from yoga. The mysterious Uber charges in neighborhoods we never visited. The faint scent of cologne that wasn't mine. Things I'd noticed and pushed aside. That's what you do when you love someone. You choose the best possible explanation, over and over, until it breaks you. That night, the choosing stopped. I didn't confront her right away. I waited. She came home the next morning, around 7:40. I was in the kitchen, deliberately making coffee I didn't want, the smell sharp and bitter. She was all smiles. Hair up, tired eyes. Hey babe, sorry I didn't call. Mom's water heater was a whole thing, and we ended up watching some old home movies. I nodded slowly. Did she say hi? I asked carefully. She froze. It was subtle, but I saw it, the half-second lag as her brain recalculated. Yeah, she said too quickly. She was asking about you. I sipped my coffee to cover the silence. I didn't push it. I just let it sit there. I needed more. I needed her to lie to me without knowing I knew. That weekend, she said she was going to a friend's cabin upstate. No cell service. Don't freak if you don't hear from me. Another lie. I knew because I'd already called that friend. The trip wasn't happening. No cabin. No girls' weekend. That was when I hired the PI. It felt like betrayal, but the kind of betrayal that grew out of necessity. Like setting a bone after it's broken, brutal, but necessary. I needed clarity. Not accusations, not assumptions. Just the truth. 3 days later, I had it. Photos. Hotel lobbies. Dinners. Her, smiling at someone who wasn't me. His hand at the small of her back. The same man who'd been liking her posts a little too enthusiastically. The same man from her gym. From yoga. It was real. And it had been real for a while. You think when you find out they're cheating, you'll scream, cry, throw things. I didn't. I just went cold. Like something inside of me shut off. The love didn't vanish, but it lost its shape. No longer something soft and warm, but something foreign I didn't recognize. The worst part? I still didn't confront her. Because I needed to understand how we got here. Not just the when and where, but the why. What changed? Who changed? I started going back through old photos, old texts, reading our messages from when we first started dating. I found one from our first month together. She had sent me a photo of her coffee, and I replied something stupid like, I'd drink that off your lips. And she'd written back, God, I love how safe I feel with you. Safe. That word haunted me. Had I changed? Had I made her feel too safe? Boring, predictable? I worked hard. I provided. I thought that was love. Maybe I missed the signs that she was slipping away, slowly, day by day. Maybe I loved the idea of her more than the woman she became. Maybe that's where it all started unraveling. That weekend, when she came home from the fake cabin trip, I cooked her favorite dinner. I smiled. I held her. I kissed her forehead. She didn't know I had copies of her hotel receipt tucked in my desk drawer. She didn't know I'd already moved half our savings into a separate account. I wasn't planning revenge. That's not my heart. I just wanted to survive this. But the final straw came 2 weeks later. We were out at a mutual friend's engagement party. Everyone was drinking, laughing. I watched her from across the room, saw her check her phone and smile at something. Not the kind of smile you give to a friend. It was softer, private, meant for someone else. And then she caught me looking. Her face dropped. The guilt flickered. I saw it. That's when she knew. That I knew. She came over, laughed nervously, and said, "What?" I shrugged. "Just taking you in." She smiled, but her eyes were asking a different question. We didn't speak much that night. And the next morning, I told her we needed to talk. And I told her everything. Not with yelling. Not with rage. Just calmly. "I know where you were when you said you were at your mom's. She called, looking for you." She didn't deny it. Not really. Her face dropped. She went quiet. And in that silence, everything finally made sense. She sat down slowly, like the weight of the lie had suddenly doubled. Her hands, always so sure of themselves, fidgeted with the seam of her sleeve. Her eyes didn't meet mine. "Was it the hotel?" she finally asked, voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. Among other things. A pause. The kind of pause that begs for rescue. But I didn't throw her a rope. I wasn't angry, not in the way she expected. I was just done pretending. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. It wasn't supposed to be anything. It was just. I waited, but she didn't finish. Because we both knew what it was. It was a choice, I said gently. Every time. And it wasn't me you were choosing. That landed harder than I thought it would. Her eyes welled up. I didn't mean for this to happen. I looked at her then, not as my wife, not as the woman I'd shared a bed and a future with, but as someone I used to know, someone I once trusted with my whole heart. "That's the thing," I said. "We never do, but it still does." The next few weeks were surreal. We didn't fight. We didn't scream. We just drifted in opposite directions. She moved into the guest room. I took late walks just to avoid being in the same house. It's strange, grieving someone who's still right there. I started packing my things one drawer at a time. Shirts into boxes. Photos off the wall. Each object I touched felt like a chapter closing. Not violently. Just inevitably. She cried one night. I heard her through the door. And part of me wanted to go in, to comfort her. Old instincts. But I didn't. Because comforting her meant betraying myself. We tried to talk, here and there. But it always came back to the same quiet truths. She wasn't happy. She hadn't been for a while. And instead of facing that, she looked for escape. "I thought you'd fall apart if I told you," she admitted once. I almost laughed. Not in cruelty, just disbelief. "You think this is me falling apart?" She blinked. I think that was the first time she realized I wasn't breaking. I was building something new, without her. We signed the papers a month later. No lawyers. No court drama. We agreed on the split. I didn't want her money. I just wanted my peace. The day she moved out, she stood at the door a long time. Keys in her hand. "I searching for something." "I did love you," she said. "I still do in some way." I nodded. "I believe you. But love's not enough when trust is gone." She started crying again. But this time I didn't flinch. "I hope he was worth it," I said, not as a weapon, but as a question. One she'd have to live with. The first night alone, I expected to feel hollow. But I didn't. I felt light. No more pretending. No more questioning. Just the raw clarity of truth. I got rid of the bed we shared. Bought a smaller one. Switched up the furniture. Got new dishes. Not because I hated what we had, but because I needed something that was mine. Something untouched by lies. Friends asked if I wanted to date again. I said no. I didn't want noise. I wanted stillness. Time to understand what it meant to love someone who didn't love me the way I needed. Time to forgive myself for the signs I missed. For loving blindly. And maybe, time to forgive her too. Because the truth is, we were both broken in quiet ways. She was just the one who broke outward. I did all my breaking on the inside. It's been a year now. Sometimes, I still think about that phone call from her mom. The moment everything began to unravel. The moment my world shifted, quietly, irrevocably. But I don't think about it with bitterness. I think about it like a landmark. The place where my old life ended, and my new one began. She taught me something. Through her lies, through her silence, through her departure. She taught me that love without honesty is just a slow kind of loneliness. And I don't want to live like that. I want real. I want raw. I want love that shows up where it says it will be. Because I know now what I didn't know then. When someone says they're at their mom's, they should be.